Hey guys, it's Courtney with the Kitchen Garden, and we are getting so close to spring. March is literally around the corner. So, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do I know when to start my seeds? And I have a few suggestions for you, a few tips. And the first is that you really want to check your anticipated last frost date. Now, it's not an exact science, of course, because, well, weather, but if you go to almanac.com, you can type in your zip code and they'll give you, based on years of data of the last frost, your last anticipated frost date. So mine is April the 1st. And I know this because we've had a couple of rogue frosts or even snows in mid to late March. And you just don't want to plant seeds because there's been some sunny, warm days. It always tempts us into planting things early, only to have all of your hard work blown with an unexpected frost or a snap, and it kills your plants. So, or it creates a whole lot of work for you having to get out there and cover up everything. Because depending on the size of your garden, you might not be able to cover it all. So, how do you know? Check that frost date and plan for that. So once you've checked your frost date and you know about when your last frost will be, you want to then look at that super valuable information on the back of your seed packages. So I know that Swiss chard is something that can stand the cool weather. But does that mean that I can plant it, here in January, February and it do well? And the answer is not really, okay? I probably could in the cold frame, but even for the Swiss chard, you can see all of this great info on the back, okay? And it tells me if I'm gonna begin my seeds indoors, then I should do it 3 to 4 weeks before that last frost date. So for me, that would be the first week of March if I'm gonna plant these inside, okay? Or in my cold frame, which is what I'm probably gonna do, then that's when I'm gonna want to plant them so that they're ready to transplant into the garden that first week of April, hopefully with a little hardening off, of course. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. If I want to direct sow this chard into the ground, then I need to wait until after the last frost date. Doesn't have to be April 1st, I can wait until after. But what this is telling me is that I shouldn't plant these directly into the ground before that last frost date, because if there's a chance of frost, then it might kill my seedlings. Some packages don't have as much information. Okay, I know that I grow squash in the spring and into the summer, so I know it likes warm climates. And I have started squash seeds indoors before with no problem. This seed package doesn't have any information about starting them indoors, only direct sowing. But even then, it says sow in open ground when the soil is warm. What does that mean? Well, it definitely means after the last frost date. And you can actually take an instant read thermometer and stick it in the ground to see if your soil's between 50 and 60 degrees. That's not super warm for most of us, but it's not bad, okay? And then it has some info about thinning. So your seed package really holds a lot of the good information about when to start your seeds. I've got some others here, and if you haven't checked out this seed organization system, I highly recommend this photo box. Brussels sprouts here, and these are from Baker Creek. So we had M.I. Gardner, had some Fairy Morse, and the instructions from Baker Creek isn't as great as M.I. Gardner. I love the back of their seed packages, but this one is more of a direct sow as well, although again, you could start seedlings. Brussels sprouts are typically here at least more of a fall crop, so I would have to worry more about setting them out too early and them getting roasted in the sun more than anything else. Oh no, okay. This is what happens when I don't close my seed packages up. I end up with charged seeds everywhere, which wouldn't be a bad idea if we were outside. So hold on, let me get it cleaned up. Okay, one more thing. With your cooler weather crops, if you're planning on doing those for the spring, these you have to start early. So again, this is a Baker Creek package, tons of info on the back. And this one actually talks about starting your seeds 4 weeks. No, you transplant them into the garden 4 weeks before the last anticipated frost. So that would be me taking seedlings that I have created or that I have grown in my cold frame and moving them into the garden a full month before the last frost. So a lot of your questions about when to start seeds really depends on what you're growing, like a cooler weather crop versus a warmer weather crop like squash. And checking the back of that seed package, it has amazing information. And if you find some at your local hardware store and it doesn't have as much information as you want, or you're a beginning gardener, then don't buy them. Okay, go with something like Baker Creek. They've got a really amazing catalog. And My Gardener, I showed you that their seed packages have really wonderful information. And start relying on those. Okay, you will get your green thumb under you as you garden more, and you'll also get a better feel for your own weather and that anticipated frost date and what you can begin early or what you could winter sow, and just really hone your craft for your local area. So I hope you find that helpful about when to start seeds. It really depends on what you're growing and if you plan to start them indoors or not. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.